with an introduction, my name is Tiny Garlington. I am the manager for quality assurance training and partially financial counseling with Emory Healthcare. I have been with Emory Healthcare 13 years. Now, I need a volunteer. I need someone to pull out your phone, and I'm going to choose you. So pull out your phone. So I need you to calculate all of the people that are in this room, because I want to know, today's session is about I am. And I'm going to get into the details of what I am really means. And it's going to be fun. We're going to have fun.
So what do I need to do with the phone?
We're going to go start from the back, and I want everybody to tell me, I've told you who I am. I'm Tiny Garlington. So type in the number 13, because we're going to add up the experience in this room. So I want to see how many years of experience we have in this room. So I'm 13, Selena.
15.
Okay, so that's 15. Scott?
5.
Okay. Yolanda?
Hang on.
Go ahead and do you. She's added how many years of experience? You scared to tell?
40.
Okay, that's good. 40. Okay. How many?
17.
17. How many do you have?
15.
15.
5.
5. 29. Okay. 16. 26. 30. Okay, we're going to start with you, ma'am, right here with the pretty jacket.
35.
35. How many next to her with the? You're adding yours up? So we'll come back to you.
21.
21. How many do you have? 12. Sonia. 26. 20. 4. 28. And I'm going to come back to you. You still counting? You need some toes? 30. So what's our total number?
400.
Oh, wow. So in this room, we have experience in this room, which leads me to believe that we all can identify with the I ams of the healthcare industry. So let's start with the first I. What's that number again?
402.
Keep that number in your head, everybody. There is power in the letter I. Identify. What are some of the things that we identify with every day in healthcare? Well, we identify with what? Company goals. We identify with barriers. We identify with departmental goals as well. We also identify with what? Deadlines. So some of the things that I want to talk to you about today, I know we talk about Medicare. I know we talked about how to hire for other people. We've talked about a variation of things here today, but what I wanted to do was focus on us. What do we do? How do we remain mentally sane to be able to do what we do? Because it is a stressful environment, especially with all of the different changes that we have every day. So who wants to share with me about some of the things that you do to prepare yourself mentally to go into the workplace? And I'll take a volunteer. Okay.
I can pray.
Right here. What do you? Okay. What else do we have? She said pray.
Okay.
Okay. What are some of the other things that you do?
I do a 5:30 day one.
Okay. So you get, okay, good. What are some of the other things that we do in the room?
I turn up the music on the way to work.
Okay.
I put on my jam. So when
Okay.
I get there, I'm happy.
Okay. You had your hand up back here? No? Somebody back here want to share what they do? What do you do, Yolanda?
Well, I am an audiovisualist,
Okay.
and so I listen to, I like decompress and not thinking about work, so when I get there, I'm fresh with, whatever stuff is going on in my brain. So then I'm like, I haven't already overwhelmed myself by the time I get there.
Right. And so the reason why I chose I am, because we are the faces of healthcare. We are the individuals that are responsible for making sure that we set the tone for the patients, right? Because when the patients come in without us, guess what? The doctors wouldn't have face sheets, they wouldn't have a chart, they wouldn't have insurance, they wouldn't have the ability to be able to perform the clinical duties on the right patient, right? But we have to make sure that we are dreamers. Who's all dreamers in the room? Let me see all my dreamers. You're not a dreamer? Nobody? I think we all are dreamers. And what does dreamer mean? Basically, when I say identify, you are defining your goals and you are being specific. This is highly, highly important when you are dealing with staff, both internal and external customers. You want to make sure you define your goals and you're specific about what it is that you expect from that person. Do we all agree?
Yes.
Okay. Next, you have to reinforce organizational and departmental positive group talk. That's a new term, group talk. Because we are not in this alone. Even though we do what we do every day, we have a team and we have people that we are responsible for, and we have to make sure that we are communicating positively. It gets hard, trust me. I'm a manager. I work with so many people. I don't just report to my director. I report to senior leaders, CFOs, CEOs, COOs. So I am not just here doing what I do. I have to make sure that I'm out in the masses and I am communicating positively. And it can be hard. It can be very hard. Let's go through the revenue cycle. Patient is referred. Sonia is our manager for scheduling. I have to be able to positively communicate with Sonia any discrepancies that we may have. We may not agree, but at the end of the day, what's our most common goal here? Who? The patient, right. So we have to make sure that we are doing what's best for the patient. The next part of that is the pre-cert team. I work with Selena. She sits right next to me. So, literally. And we have to communicate to each other in a positive way. And we have to eventually come to a conclusion that our what is important? Our who? Patient. Absolutely. Next, we have encourage each other and build a solid support system. You guys, I cannot stress enough how important it is to ensure that our communication is something that is solid. If you are currently in an organization and you do not know your key players, I encourage you to leave from here today and get to know those people. Because what you do, what we do on the front end, it has a major impact on the back end. Do you all agree? Any questions? Okay. Next, you have to make sure you pay attention to the details and paint a picture of what success as an organization and a team looks like. So there are no I's in team. It's all about we. So we have to make sure that we are communicating. And one other thing that I would like to encourage you all to do, get you an outside organizational buddy. And that is somebody who works at another facility, and you guys can bounce ideas off of each other. Because guess what? We become so inundated with the day-to-day that we are so inundated with the day-to-day that we can't see the things around us. I'm a project manager by trade. So when I deal with people who would like for me to work on their projects, I say, look at me as your eyes and your ears. Because what do? We're heads down in our computers, answering emails, putting out fires, handling critical cases. So as a project manager, I'm standing back and I'm looking and I'm observing the room, and I'm providing you with the feedback that you need to be able to be successful. Because in healthcare, again, we have, and this is on my other slides, we have so many different components and aspects to healthcare that it takes a sane person to get through the day. Because guess what, people, who's heard of burnout in here? And I'm sure many of us have gone to our faculty staff, I'm burnt out, I'm tired, I don't know what to do. But my goal today is to help you become the I am. Help you identify with the challenges, but formulate solutions that can help you perform at your best. Because our patients need us. And how I am was developed was because I always look at myself on the other side of the desk. What if it was me that was sick? And somebody on the other side of the desk didn't take it seriously. How does that make you feel? So that's how I am was developed. Excuse me. Next, you have make it a priority to celebrate often. I'm sure all of us started from somewhere, right? I know for me, I sat at the front desk. I had to be told what to do, and I had to work my way up the ladder to be able to get to a point where I had to decide whether or not I was going to be a boss or be a leader. I chose to be a leader. What's the difference? A boss says you need to do. A leader says I'm going to do it with you, and I'm going to celebrate you often. So that is what a leader does. So, yes.
I got something to add to that. That's great. We also just did a similar course at Wilton Hall. I am a leader. I am a school leader for a piece of it. But what you said was important. That one is a manager is a position, and a leader is like their character is a characteristic. So I just wanted to add that to that what you were explaining. It's a position versus a characteristic of their character.
Right. And that goes back to the DISC analysis. I encourage you to do that with your staff. One of the things that I like to do, and you can write this down if you want to, I get the birthdays of all of my staff. Now, I'm not about the zodiac sign. I'm not into all the other stuff. But the traits are, if you look at somebody and you look at yourself, the traits are so similar. So what I like to do is look at my staff member's birthday. I make a list of their positive traits from a work perspective and their negative traits. Because personally, that's their personal life. But when it comes to the workplace, I want to know how you can perform and how I can get the best out of you as a manager, as a leader. So I look at their traits and I say, okay, what's your birthday? What are your positive traits? What are your negative traits? And that helps me as a leader communicate to that individual. Yes, we are a whole, but communicating and tapping into that individual, you're identifying with them, and you are making a mark to get the best out of them. Because that's our ultimate goal, right? To get the best out of our employees and or our team members and make sure that they are producing, because we have deadlines to meet, right? So the next thing is identify, plan, and practice. This does not happen overnight. I don't have a magic wand to say, your team is going to be good. I don't have that. But what I do have are these suggestions. And practice makes perfect, right? Practice makes better. So if you identify with your teams, you identify with yourself, you identify with your company goals, and a lot of times we don't do this, and the reason why I wanted to go around the room to see what the total age is, because I know we all, and we can be transparent here. We go out of this room, what happens in this room stays in this room. We'll get the disclaimer on the way out. But what I would like to know is when was the last time you went into your internal intranet and you looked at your organizational mission, vision, and values? Be honest. When was the last time you
On
did
the
that?
back of our budget, so we look at it.
Right. And the reason why I'm pointing that out is because that sets the tone for your department. That helps your employees and your staff to understand it's not Tiny's way. This is not Tiny's world, although I do have a Tiny's world outside of work. But this is Emory's world. And these are the rules and the mission and the vision and the culture that we have to abide by. Okay? Next we have, and this is a nice quote, everyone desires relationships and community. Most people want to belong to a cohesive, like-minded group. It staves off loneliness. It promotes identity. These are the natural and very human instincts. So everybody wants to be recognized. Even that person that says, I don't care or I don't want to, they really want to. So recognize them anyway. So I just wanted any questions, and that's by Joshua Ferris. Any questions or concerns before I move forward? Now, as you can see over here, I have a lot of books. I love to read. Selena calls me a nerd, but it's okay. But I love to read, and recently I attended a program. It was a project management program, and I recommend that every leader takes this class because what we do every day is project. It really is. We've moved away from process to projects. So these are some of the books that I obtained, and these help me as a leader. There's one here says Unleashing the Power, and you can go through Skill Path. Who knows about Skill Path? These are awesome skill paths. So they are world known. They work with Fortune 500 companies, and they have a large library of classes. But they have books that you can use to help you because as leaders, we need tools, right? We need tools in order to be successful. And I'm one of those leaders that believes in equipping yourself with tools. So there's power in the letter A. Analyze. Are you proactive or are you reactive? That's a great question, right? What are the trends within your organization? What are your successes? A lot of times we like to talk about the failures, but do we talk about the successes? So that's what the analyze component is all about. It's all about asking yourself, am I proactive or am I reactive? Am I looking at things before they happen and planning the day before? And I want to give you a take 10. Take 10. Take 10 minutes, just 10 minutes to plan your day. That's all it takes. Because studies have shown if you go beyond 10 minutes, you're more than likely to overwhelm yourself and you're going to get tired and you're going to stop planning. So take 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, close your office door, put a sign on your door, put your phones down, shut your emails down, and plan. And also, I want to encourage you to delegate. If you have team members, delegate. Again, remember I said that I look at my team member strengths and weaknesses, and I figure out, oh, she can help me do this, or she can help me do that. Because as leaders, that takes some of that weight. Excuse me, that's the lunch. Okay. Take some of that burden off of you. And what are the trends within your organization? What are the current trends? Are you having trends with your attendance, with your staff? Are you having trends with Medicare? Are you having trends with your Affordable Care Act plans? What type of trends can you analyze and be proactive? Let's take a deeper look. So let's talk about the good old Affordable Care Act. Who's ready for that? The good news is a lot of them are pulling out. Good news. But the bad news is that the ones that are staying, how many people can raise their hand and say that physicians, and I hope there's no physicians in here, I love you guys.
I think I made them leave.
You made them leave? Okay. So, how many physicians refer patients to your organization that are out of network? A lot of them. How many calls do you get? I have this bill for $4,000. Why? When I have insurance. We all can account for that, right? So one of the things that I would like to encourage you all to do is plan ahead for the Affordable Care Act. Be proactive, because I know for us at Emory Healthcare, if a scheduler scheduled something last year for a patient that's this year for a patient that's going to be coming in next year and is eligible, we have to literally hunt that account down and find it and call the patient and say, I'm sorry, but we don't accept this plan. So, with that being said, it's beneficial for everyone in this room to be proactive as it pertains to the Affordable Care Act. Yes.
So, what we're doing to do that is we're having one of our system admins pull a list of all the patients that used our facility that had an Affordable Care Act plan last year. And we just had our letter that's going to go out to all those people vetted by our legal department. And we will be sending them a letter out letting them know that they've used us in the past year and open enrollment is coming, it's starting November the 1st, and these are the plans that we accepted for moving forward for this new fiscal year, for this new year, to help them in their decision making process.
Absolutely. And that is a great nugget as they said earlier, to take away, because you want to be proactive. Because here's the thing, although our number one priority are our patients, we also have what we call AR days, right? We also have goals that we want to make sure that no patient gets a bill, right? So be proactive in looking at your operationally, and that's a great recommendation that Yolanda provided. Have your systems analyst to pull your report of all of those patients who have this particular insurance and get them to help you with identifying those patients and letting the patients know. And when it comes to Press Ganey and customer service surveys that our patients get, you would be surprised when it comes to the financial component that they'll give you a good score for patient access just for being proactive in that aspect. Okay? The next thing is staff development. What are you doing to develop your staff? I know, where are all my managers in the room? Directors, anybody? Okay. So we are bombarded with emails, staffing issues, demands from our leaders, a whole plethora of things, right? However, we have to take time to develop our staff. That is something that must be a priority as a leader. Schedule yourself some time to be able to, going back to what the team said from the Avery group, was it? Prior to this presentation, taking that time to have that interview. It may not be those particular questions, but getting to know your people and letting them know that you care. Because what I have found in doing that, sometimes I have some of my staff, I close the door, come in, sit down, let's talk. I don't necessarily talk about their personal lives, but how are things going with your work? What can I do to help you? How can we help each other? What can we do? And you would be surprised in the responses that you get. Meeting goals and deadlines. Oh my goodness. I'm sure my email has 200 plus emails right now. So how am I going to meet that goal and deadline? But anyway, we have to ensure that we meet goals and deadlines. Now, I want to read something from you, from Robert Frost, and I promise I won't have you here much longer, but it says, "The road not taken." And it says, "Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And to be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as far, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for the passing there, had warned them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay. In leaves no steep had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." Okay? So we have to take care of ourselves. Self-preservation is the key. Preservation is the key. So I just wanted to make sure that there is good news. You can do it if he's walking along the travel road. Analysis made simple. You want to examine, involve your team, use the Agile method. Who knows about the Agile method in here? The Agile method says short and simple. You break it down into tasks. Instead of trying to do everything at one time, you break the task down and you say, okay, we're going to huddle up for 15 minutes. This is your task, this is your task, this is your task, now go. And then you all come back and you meet up 15 minutes and you talk about the accomplishments and you develop more tasks. Because guess what? It's mind over matter. If you have all of this stuff that you have to do, what do? You get overwhelmed. But if you begin to break it down into pieces, you're like, oh wow, we did something today. You feel great about it. Identify the causes, work backwards. When you work forward, sometimes you miss something. But if you work backwards, and let me give you an example. A patient calls in and their account balance is $4,000. You're going to work backwards because you want to look at what happened right, at the end, and then you go back and you track what happened at the beginning. Who did it? Why did they do it? What happened? Were there any communications? You look at all of these variables, okay? The next thing, collaboration rules within the organization. It may not be your lane, but if you help somebody else to understand what you do, it makes your organization better. It helps you to relieve some of that burnout, relieve some of that stress, because you all know what each other do. I know in healthcare, we like to have our little silos. This is my team, and we're going to do this. But you have to make sure that you guys are collaborating. Results. If you want results, you have to be specific. If you say, I would like for my department to reach a less than 5-day AR, that's not specific. You're just saying, I want us to have a less than 5-day AR. So I'm going to go around the room and ask you, what would you add to that? So Scott, what would you add to that?
By eliminating duplicate names.
Okay. What would you add to that?
Maybe making a number more specific, instead of less than blah, blah, making it specific.
Right. Being more specific. In the back, what would you, right here in the blue shirt, what would you say? In the back, very last row. What would you add to that? You want your AR days to be less than 5 days.
So let's add ours together.
Okay.
You
Scott,
want
what did you
your-
say?
You want your ARs to be
By reducing
4.5 days
duplicate
by
names.
what?
By reducing duplicate names.
Duplicate
By
names.
reducing duplicate medical records or names.
Uh-huh.
And then
Insurance errors.
by helping insurance errors and what?
What was yours?
Okay. Well, you gotta make sure your work is correct, because if you don't have the order scanned or it's missing something,
Right.
it can't get coded, so it's not gonna be 5
So
days,
missing
because,
position orders.
right, so your accuracy has to be.
Accuracy. What do you have in the back?
I was just gonna say, take off what Pat's missing around, by, average, quality assurance scores across the department being, 98%.
Absolutely. So when you all are setting goals, when you're examining, identifying, and you want results, you have to be very, very specific. And like I said, I go back to celebrate. Celebrating may be something as simple as bringing in ice cream. Celebrating may be something as simple as having a huddle and recognizing that person. Celebrating may be something as simple as my nice little globe here from Yolanda that says, you're awesome. So that's what celebrating, that's what this analyzing made simple is all about. Lastly, there is power in the letter M. Patient satisfaction, consistency, self-preservation, success stories, overcoming difficulties or challenges. You want to manage these things. You want to make sure that you have a handle on these things. Because if you don't, what happens? Your department goes haywire, your staff morale is down, you're stressed out, you're trying to meet departmental goals, organizational goals, you are trying to make sure that your customers internally and externally are satisfied. So if you manage these things and get an accountability partner. Get an accountability partner. I love having accountability partners because that person helps me to achieve my goals. Because guess what? Even though we are I am, we have to have someone to help us get to that end result. What can you do to stay on task? Relax. There's only so much you can do in a day, right? I'm sure it'll be there when you get there tomorrow. So that's all about prioritizing and making sure that if it's something that that can wait, let it wait, and communicate that to the next person. So if it's something that you cannot do, let that person know. Be courteous and say, hey, I'm inundated, I have a lot going on, I can't do it right now. The next thing is create incentives for those who are what we consider SMEs. Who knows what SMEs are? Subject matter expert. That's right. Good job. Know your peak time. Who knows their peak times? So it's those times when you're most productive. I'm a morning person. After 12, you can forget about it. You know, it's like right now I'm struggling. I'm like, okay, but I gotta get through this. That's when you're at your best. So that's when you schedule your high priority things around your peak times, when you know that you can push and do. Now, we're gonna have a group exercise. So what we're gonna do is, I want you guys, because we all tend to lose the kid within us, right? We're so inundated with work and emails and life and kids and things and this and blah, 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 blah. So what I wanted to do, I have some nice little things here, and I have some eyes here, and I have markers, and I have cute little flowers, and for the fellows, I have baseballs and volleyballs, and I have stars. And what I want you guys to do, because I want you all to get up and come up here and grab you a couple of things and go back to your desk and create you something. Bring the kid out of you and have a little fun. My name is Tiny Garlington. Thank you guys. I'm glad you guys were here. Oh, and by the way, who remembers the number of experiences? 402.
We all have raspberry.
Okay. So what I would like for you all to do is, we're going to just take a piece of paper and put your name. I'm going to do a little raffle for some gifts. Okay?